Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Fuller, and as Chair of the Board, I welcome you to this April 2nd, 2024 regular meeting of the Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners. Our Office Coordinator, Aaron Smith, will describe how our meetings operate, how to access the agenda packet, and how people may participate remotely. Aaron.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. There are multiple ways to make public comment during today's board meeting, whether you're joining us in person or virtually. If you're here in person and would like to make public comment, please fill out the sign-in sheet now. If you're joining us virtually, we will ask you to raise your hand at the appropriate time in the agenda. If you're joining us virtually and are experiencing technical issues with audio or video during the meeting, submit a comment in the chat feature and our communications manager will help you troubleshoot. If you would like closed captioning during the meeting, you will have to manually change your settings, click on the captions button and select show captions. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be posted to wcroads.org in the next few days. And there are printed copies of today's meeting agenda on the table near the front door and is also posted on our website. And now I'll turn it back over to Chair Fuller.
Thank you, Aaron. I now call this April 2nd, 2024 regular meeting to order and ask Aaron to call the roll.
Chair Bart Fuller.
Present.
Vice Chair Rod Green.
Present.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Present.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Present.
And Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Present.
And then the following directors are in attendance: Managing Director Matt Washtenaw, Director of Engineering and County Highway Engineer Brent Schlack, Director of Operations Adam Leip, and Director of Finance and IT Dan Ackerman.
Thank you. Please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Support. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
And Commissioner Bart Fuller.
Yes, the agenda is approved as presented. We have one set of minutes to approve today or to accept. May I have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes of March 18th, 2024 as presented, pages 4 through 13 of the packet.
So moved.
Support. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would please.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
And Commissioner Bart Fuller.
Yes, the minutes of March 18th are accepted as presented. Next, we have the reports from our county commission liaisons. I see both Commissioner Sanders and Commissioner Light are present. Commissioner Sanders, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. The only thing I have to share is that we have a meeting tomorrow, a board meeting tomorrow. Starts at 5. The working session is 5:30. The general meeting is at 7. I am expecting that we will have a packed house. And I didn't get a chance to say this out loud, but Chair Fuller, I appreciate you staying with us and basically spending the night the last time we had a board meeting. We just needed to get some toothpicks and a blanket for you, but that's pretty much it to share related to the road commission and the board. So as always, you're invited to join us, and I'll yield what's left of my time in case Commissioner Light has something else she wants to share.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanders. Commissioner Light.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I don't have much to follow up, but as Commissioner Sanders said, thank you for coming to spend the night with us, as we do a lot, and we probably will tomorrow. Tomorrow, considering we have several things going on the agenda, and so we just look forward to tomorrow. So thanks for having us.
Thank you. I would just, for the record, like to add that our Director of Operations, Adam Lake, was also there to the bitter end. And I believe Coy Vaughn from Parks and Rec was there. And wasn't there a gentleman from Ann Arbor City as Nick Hutchinson was there as well. So it was an interesting meeting. It was a long one. Next item is public comment. This is the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board. Erin will now explain how people may be recognized to offer comments.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. Since this is a hybrid meeting with both in-person and virtual attendees, we will take turns between those attending in person and virtually. For our virtual attendees, we have provided some instructions on the screen on how to participate and make public comment. If you're attending this meeting virtually and would like to make comment, please raise your hand now. If you dialed into the meeting from your phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. Our communications manager will unmute virtual participants with raised hands one at a time and will announce your username or last 4 digits of your phone number when it is your turn to speak. And then please share your name and address before beginning your comments. And then for our in-person attendees, we will start with those who signed up on the sign-in sheet. As you walked in, if you didn't sign in, you're still welcome to make comment. At this time, we don't have anyone that would like to make public comment.
Thank you, Erin. We will move along to written communications on pages 14 and 15 of the packet. Commissioners, anything you wish to draw our attention to? Commissioner Yamas,
This written communication about the township
the
update
township update.
was wonderfully done, easy to read and attention grabbing. So I want to give credit to person who did that. Thank you.
I believe that's under the purview of our comms manager, Tiffany Oliphant. Erin also pitches in, and I think Emma as well. Yes?
Yes, that's Erin. Erin takes care of the township update and puts it on our website as well. So everyone can find that on the website under the township page on wcroads.org.
Thank you, Tiffany. All right, let's move on to new business consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? Items 1 through 16. The motions appear on pages 17 through 23 with background on pages 24 through 49.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions, commissioners, on anything? That's quite a list of items, and I just want to make sure if you had any questions, we had a chance to address them. No, all right. Erin, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
And Commissioner Bart Fuller.
Yes. We will move on to reports of the road commissioners, starting with Commissioner Green.
Thank you. On March 19th to 21st, I attended the County Road Association Highway Conference. And I met with the negotiating committee and the legal issues forum. Internal sessions, I attended the commissioner's role in union negotiations, jurisdictional transfers, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I also had a chance to vote on the Impress Awards. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Green. Commissioner Smurs.
I also attended the Road Commission Roadshow, March 19th, 20th, and 21st. This was my first year attending and I learned a lot. On my report. Thank you.
Saw some friends from
Saw-
days gone by
Yes.
too. Thank you. Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, on March 19th, I attended the County Road Association Highway Conference and Roadshow. I also attended the Commissioners Committee meeting. We talked about the Commissioners Seminar, which will be held on September 22nd and 23rd at the Treetops Resort in Gaylord, Michigan, and more details to come. On March 25th, I completed the Windows 11 training. I also viewed Getting High-Speed Internet and the Crises Preparedness book on the County Road Association site. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Yamas.
On March 27th, I attended the chat and no one came, but I had a wonderful chat with Erin. And
Very good. I will report that I too attended the County Road Association Highway Conference in Lansing on March 19, 20, and 21. As you have heard, our organization was well represented by both staff and board members. I want to point out a few highlights. Nicole Peterson, our Human Resources Manager, was featured as a presenter and described our employee on and offboarding procedure. Her presentation was complemented by Scott Marilat, who is Lenawee County's Managing Director, and he remarked that his organization would look into replicating the process that Nicole has developed. The Washtenaw County Road Commission was featured in the 2023 Impress Awards. 3 projects were showcased, 1 in each of 3 categories. And the collaboration Impress Award submission received the People's Choice Award. And I believe our managing director will speak at greater length to that. Just to give some kudos to the people that were there on the collaboration Impress Award submission. Brent Schlack spoke to that project. Tiffany Oliphant, our communications manager, spoke to our communications submission. And Adam Late, Director of Operations, described how we worked on a collaborative project with culvert replacements. Just a note, I will be attending tomorrow night's April 3rd, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting for the final reading of the resolution to place the restore and renew of the roads and non-motorized millage on the August 6th, 2024 primary ballot. That concludes my report. Moving on to managing director and staff reports with any updates. The staff reports appear on pages 50 through 60 in the packet. Matt.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions on the staff report in the board packet? I'll start by asking. Go ahead.
I just have a comment, and when Chris talks the finance and IT report, he'll probably say something about it, but I thought on page 56 of the packet, the third dot, Chris has been working on the Office 365 security improvements. And this was recommended by our managed service provider. Our security score has increased from initial score of 36.07 to 76.01. I thought that was awesome. Fantastic.
Thank you for highlighting that. Absolutely. Chris Quinter, our IT manager, and Dan Ackerman have done a great job of really raising the bar over the last few years, and they continue to do so. So I appreciate you recognizing them. Thank you. Under my report, I wanted to first start out by thanking numerous staff who covered for my absence last week. I was on vacation. Adam Lape was in for chat and covered for me on a number of occasions. And also Tiffany and Nicole holding down the fort in administration while I was away in Florida. I do want to report on the Impress Awards. I appreciate all the staff's time, and I too attended the CRA conference along with numerous staff, and I appreciate the engagement our road commission has, not only the commissioners but staff in helping to make that a successful conference. We learn a lot. You can see Tiffany is sharing a photo taken by our own Commissioner McCollum. Appreciate that. Thank you for being our photographer there. While they were talking about some of the Impress Awards we received, and Commissioner Fuller mentioned some of them, and we've got posters of them in here in the boardroom. One of the things I really appreciate is learning from other organizations. So when we are doing something new, we want to share with our peers. We learn from them, they learn from us. And then ultimately, there's a vote, and we received a People's Choice Award for particularly the culvert replacement projects, which was also highlighted in our township update. Basically, there was another round to the stormwater grant that Water Resources commissioners have awarded, and it's a great partnership, and it's definitely worthy of noting. We were really working with our partners, whether it be the Water Resources or townships, to make improvements to our infrastructure and serving our citizens of Washtenaw County. So thank you all to all those that helped put these together. I know it's a fair amount of work, but it's good to be recognized and share successes. So thank you.
I'm hoping we submit 3 again the end of this calendar year.
We're already thinking about that. Thank you.
As I was talking to Tiffany, it was a bit of a fire drill there at the end of last year to get all of this pulled together, but she did it beautifully, and so did staff. So
Yes, year end, we tend to have a lot to work on, whether it be budget, getting ready for winter, closing things out. But it's important to celebrate successes and also to share with our peers, like I said. I did want to mention, I'll plan to attend the BOC meeting tomorrow night as well with Adam Lape and Brett Schlack are going to join us. We're well prepared, I think. I followed up. I attended the last meeting that was actually partly in the CRA conference. It was on March 20th. That went very well. We received some compliments on the information we presented to the BOC and also questions. I did follow up with those questions. And so I think they're well informed. We're ready for that second reading, and we'll also be prepared if there are other questions that come up. So we're excited to be at this point. We really appreciate the Board of Commissioners getting us to this point, and hopefully the next step will getting on the ballot and allowing the voters to decide on that renew and restore. For us as an organization, the next step will be an education effort, and so we're gearing up for that. We need to educate and make sure people are well informed if they were to vote yes, or what would happen in the projects that we're planning for the next 4 years. So very important. We've done a lot of groundwork with our elected officials. The next step will be the public at large. So also wanted to let you know, I did attend a CEO roundtable with MERS, our Municipal Employee Retirement System. That was hosted this morning in Howell in Livingston County. It was their opportunity to talk with their clients, our municipal public agencies that are part of MERS, and really present their annual report. I thought it was very well done. They do an outstanding job. They hold training throughout the year, and then they have an annual conference in October, which we generally will send folks to. They do an outstanding job, and they really serve this organization very well. So that's all I had. I will turn it over to the directors. First being the Director of Operations, Mr. Adam Lape.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Adam Lape, Director of Operations. So the operations team, we're continuing to work on the 2024 primary road projects, preparing for some of the local road projects. That's all drainage work and forestry work at this point, as you guys have probably seen through some of the weekly updates. We have a picture we're going to look at here in a few moments about that. And then with some of that, excuse me, we inevitably get to a point of spreading the stone on an unpaved road after we do some of these prep projects, the drainage improvements. Jared, one of our superintendents, he set a lofty goal, we thought, of 50,000 tons by the end of April to be spread on the road. We may easily surpass that with some of the weather and how the progress has been going. So kind of a fun little fact that we're plenty far ahead of schedule. So we're happy still this year, even with a little bit of rain, it's been getting down the road pretty good. So
Great.
with some of Tiffany's assistance, I'll hook up here and put a photo up. There you go. And so what you're going to see in the screen there is what we refer to as drainage improvements. So that's when the crew will remove that shoulder, cut the berm you hear us refer to sometimes, and then minor ditching alongside any road, whether it be unpaved or paved. What that's to do is convey that water off the road. So you've heard me say this multiple times, you know, that's our number one goal when we go out to any project, is to really get the water off the road, whether it be chip sealing, prior to paving, prior to limestone resurfacing, gravel resurfacing. We always have a goal to get the water off the road and allow the road some opportunity to dry out. So this goes along the lines of really any surface we touch. So it's kind of a good project and a good photo to highlight here. What this is, this section of Joy Road, I believe east is to your right, and I believe west is to your left. So that's actually part of the millage project for this year. So it's kind of excited to be out there working on that already. That'll be about 20,000 tons of limestone that we'll put down there when we start hauling stone on that road here in a few weeks. So
What side of Whitmore Lake Road is this?
you would be east of.
East. That's
Correct. Yeah.
kind of bumpy.
Yes. Yes, that road, Joy Road sees quite a bit of traffic and it's been a while since there's been material on a good multitude of the segments through there, you know, every mile or so. So we've been able to kind of get ourselves out toward Earhart Road this year. And that'll be kind of our eastern project limit. So yeah, that's kind of something I wanted to show because I was looking through stuff today and talking to Tiffany about that. Really drainage is everything on every road. But it was nice to show something that we just did here recently. That's Chris Steins, which is one of our operators that we have out of the heavy equipment crew, operating one of our great alls. And I'm not sure who was in the truck, but I believe Jason Klaus took the picture, which is the foreman for heavy equipment.
Adam, thank you so much for highlighting this important project. This is one of the roadways we actually got a lot of calls on during that spring thaw or the warming. I wouldn't say spring thaw, it was actually still technically winter. We got a lot of warm weather and we had a thawing occurring. And this investment we're going to help us in those times. And drainage is really very important. As Adam highlights, we call it country curb. That's when that roadside really builds up so much so that the water can't shed off of that roadway. And so this is an important improvement as part of a resurfacing project, but it's much needed and long overdue. This also was a borderline between townships. So oftentimes it's difficult to get everyone to agree to participate. So this ended up being a millage project.
Correct.
So I think it was very well received from our township partners.
Yeah, both townships, well, really 4 townships across that kind of share Joy Road, so to speak. We're kind of working with each one respectively to try to partner and do some other segments and been pretty successful. Superior and Salem have partnered before. Ann Arbor, Northfield have partnered. We see a little bit of Salem Northfield partnership also on Dixboro for the north-south segment. Which is not obviously Joy Road, but still adjacent to that road. So a lot of people use Joy Road and then they go to Dixboro and they want to go zooming up to the north. So it's nice to have that partnership work, but things that we can do like this with the use of the millage dollars, you know, this is really helpful because it benefits 2 townships at once. So it's a kind of an easy sell for people to support and give us some funding for that. So.
And now we all know what a great all is. because
Yes,
you
that
gave
is
us a
correct. Yeah.
Picture and the name of
Yeah,
the
you-
piece of equipment is right there.
Yes, that's great. They keep it kind of simple. Like I say, I refer back to operations brain. We keep it kind of simple. We don't go too far out there with our stuff. So, but that does kind of conclude my update unless there are any questions. Just so everyone does know, erosion control wise, you know, after they finish this, we refer to it as restoration, but our crews come back or we have a contractor will seed and mulch that in theory. So that'll regerminate grass, but we need the grass to grow. And how we explain it to constituents when they call, we need the grass to grow down where it's supposed to be, not on top of all the organic that's kind of obstructing the drainage.
Any questions for Adam?
Thank you, Adam, and thank you for all the work. Obviously, our consent agenda was a lot of township agreements, so a lot of good work going forward and getting these collaborative projects and our township matching program for the local roads doing well, more to come.
Yeah, townships are
Future
doing great,
agendas.
so we appreciate it.
And it's only the 1st of April.
Correct.
Right. Yep.
It used to drift a little later than that. So
Yes, ma'am.
well done.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Dan, Director of Finance and IT.
Good afternoon, Board. Dan Eckerman, Director of Finance and IT. I did want to point out that Chris Quinter, our IT manager, is here as well. He was here in case you had any questions about the replacement server that was on the consent agenda. And just wanted to thank you for your approval on that. Very, very important and critical to all of our operations with our software and technology. If we've learned anything, we don't want to try to stretch the life out of something like that. You know, being so reliant on it, we want to make sure that we have good replacement schedules and so on. So we'll take our time. Hardware has to be ordered, things put together, a good plan in place to minimize the impact on staff, but we're looking forward to this project later this year. So just want to say thank you for that. Commissioner McCollum, you stole my thunder on the Office 365. but I appreciate you pointing that out. We met with our managed service provider, and I thought it was pretty daunting. They had this huge, massive Excel spreadsheet, 60 line items of suggestions as far as additional security enhancements we can make. And, you know, Chris went to work right away, and as Commissioner McCollum pointed out, we went from 36 to 76%, which is a huge, huge jump. And as good as we have, you know, proper securities in place, you know, you can always still make more improvements. And I know that's definitely very important to Chris, and, you know, he does a great job of trying to implement things, but also trying to not break other things. You know, sometimes, this was a long time ago, but we tried to make some security changes, and I vividly recall that our payroll person couldn't get into MERS's website, which is our pension system. So obviously they would need access to that. And so some of the changes had to be undone. But, you know, so obviously security is always first and foremost on our mind, and definitely on Chris's mind. So, which is great. The last thing for IT, Windows 11 upgrades are about complete. There may be one commissioner we're still waiting on, so if you guys could take care of that.
Let me in. So we were gonna talk about it today, I figured.
Okay, you have something set up?
TLC on that
Yeah,
one.
it won't-
Okay.
Won't let me in. Keeps asking for an authenticator code that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so.
Okay, have you reached out to Josh? or
Yesterday,
Chris?
but yeah, I knew
Okay.
I was gonna be here today, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, that's project we're looking forward to wrapping up, so, and definitely very important. And hopefully it's been fairly painless and seamless for those of you that have gone through it, so. With regard to finance, obviously my focus is on the first quarter budget. Lots of number crunching, which I do enjoy. Several meetings we've had. The goal is to get everything to Tiffany in the next couple of days so we can finalize things for staff to review. You know, we'll have our big budget narrative, our PowerPoint presentation. We just want to make sure we have all that finalized for you prior to the working session in a couple of weeks. Also working on finalizing the 2023 Act 51 report. Believe it or not, it's the end of the first quarter, which time just continues to march on. So there's several reports we have to do in finance for the first quarter. And lastly, there's been a lot of news lately about public agencies with financial struggles. Of course, Ann Arbor schools, there's been some articles about that as well. I felt like this was a good time to kind of talk about some of the controls and some of the processes we have in place as an agency to minimize any potential impacts, adverse impacts on the agency financially. So at the working session, Plant Moran will be here to talk about our 2023 year-end numbers. And then we'll go straight into our first quarter budget discussion. But I'm also going to have some information on what we do as an agency to make sure that we're in a good fiscal standing, that, you know, when things do come up, you know, how do we handle that? How are we in a good spot? You know, what are the things we're trying to do to really minimize impacts on our agency? I always say I don't like surprises. And staff probably knows from our meetings, don't surprise me about things, but emergencies do come up. And as an agency, we want to make sure that we can handle that, and along with everything else that we're working on. So I do plan on talking a little bit with the board about it. But I do encourage you at any point in time, if you have any concerns, reach out. You know, my door is always open, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you about these things. But it's important. You know, we want to make sure that we are in as good a position as we can, but also continue to invest in the roads, in our people, in our facilities, in our equipment. So it's a delicate balance, but I feel like, you know, we have a pretty good track record. So that'll be coming in the working session. And that's it, unless there's any questions.
Questions? if folks aren't aware, Ann Arbor Public Schools reportedly has a $25 million shortfall based on a clerical error of revenue received but not having the offset recorded. In Wayne Westland, I think is 30 million
I believe so, yes.
Um, below. So I had reached out to Dan, and I'm very impressed with the redundancy within your own team about check, to make sure left hand knows what right hand did and
Sure.
have a conversation if there's any question about what's different between what I saw and what you saw.
Yes.
So
So
I think we're in really good hands, and I know it takes a lot of work, but thank you for that.
More, oh, go ahead.
Commissioner Yamas?
when I read that, it was really sad to hear that they did the credit and they didn't do the debit. It didn't appear on both sides of the sheets, and thanks for asking. I was sure that you've done that because we've gone over how it comes in and how it goes out,
Right,
and it's a real sad situation. So I'm
Right,
very
it is.
confident that it's going well here.
And in your budgeting, you've always said we don't count it as revenue until it's in the bank, right? Which,
or it's spent if it's a project.
Right.
You know, you can't recognize that revenue until you spend it per se. So for a lot of that.
but we were waiting for that pension.
The grant,
Thank
yeah.
you, yeah,
Grant.
the grant, and
Mhm.
you emphasized we
Yeah.
wouldn't see it until we received it.
Yeah.
So,
And a lot of it is we focus on your fund balance and percentage of expenditures to make sure that that's at an adequate level. And it sounds like Ann Arbor Public Schools was already fairly lean, and then this error happened, which has really kind of been devastating for them and kind of my worst nightmare. And hopefully we never get anywhere close to that, but you know, but that's why we're doing the things we're doing to try to avoid getting that lean, I guess, so.
Matt,
If I could just add, so obviously, in 2 weeks' time, we're gonna dive deep into this subject. We will have ample material for you to review, and that's one of the things that we do is we check in on a quarterly basis to make sure all is going according to plan. In addition to that, we've got outside agencies performing audits for us. MDOT performs an audit. MERS has actuarial reports that as of December 31st, we'll get something in May or June, typically, to look at our long-term liabilities. So there's a lot of things that are in the works on a regular basis where there's checks and balances. So we have good news to share in 2 weeks where we're better positioned than which we had initially adopted a budget back in the fall. And we're well positioned coming out of year end. And so this is good news that we're going to share in 2 weeks, but there's a lot to go through, and that's why we've got the working session to do that. So more to come.
when will we get the documents from Plant Moran? That's always, as
Next
they know, I've been on their pant leg about
Next
that.
week, and we will try and get that to Erin as soon as possible. And I know she'll do everything she can to get it to you as soon as possible.
Okay, because it's a lengthy document.
Yes,
It takes some time to,
Yep.
at least for me.
Yep.
To synthesize and absorb and have an opinion about what I'm seeing.
we've changed some of our timelines to try and get it to you maybe even a little earlier if possible. So, you know, staff's kind of working through all that, but we're hoping to have everything, you know, almost ready to go by Monday, not necessarily to the board, but at least close to ready to go by next Monday. So,
So you'll let us know, Aaron, so people can swing by if you want to and pick up.
Yeah.
Plant Moran gives us hard copy, right?
Believe
Both
so.
of their report and of their PowerPoint is what I've requested in the past. So
oh, hard copy of the PowerPoint too.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make sure that
Yep.
we have that. Okay. Yep, okay.
So we can follow along and have our questions
Mhm.
written based on what they're covering.
Yeah.
So that's regarding the year-end report. And then on top of that, we'll have the Q2 budget documents as well for you to review and a presentation on that. So we'll have all that, a lot of reading material for the next 2
So
weeks.
plan ahead.
Lots of numbers.
Yeah.
Lots of numbers. And I appreciate, Matt, you bringing up the fact that we do have our quarterly budget reviews.
Mhm.
Those are the formal reviews with the board, you know, for staff to really focus on it and for you to ask questions and to see what trends are. We look at our out years, which is great. you know, because again, you know, if you look 2 years in the future and you say, oh, it looks like we're broke here. You know, obviously you need to make some changes now to make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah, and really we're focused on the budget. I feel like staff does a good job of focusing on the budget on a continual basis. You know, we talk about changes in scope with projects and impacts on budgets. So, you know, it's definitely something that's always at the forefront of everybody's mind, but then the quarterly budget reviews is just a really good opportunity to kind of dial in and just make sure we're on the right path.
And you've always been great about taking our questions, no matter how big or how small.
Yes.
So thanks for that. Some people get defensive when
Yeah.
one asks about, so this checkbook doesn't look right to me.
Yes.
But you've always been great about
Yeah.
that. So thanks.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you. Yep.
And last up, we have Brent Slack, our Director of Engineering, sorry. Exactly. They shuffle the deck on me every meeting to keep me on my toes. I failed that.
Brent Schlack, Director of Engineering. Thank you. First off, I just want to say, thanks on the, recognizing the awards that we received, for the collaboration. I especially want to thank James Way, Ken Harris and Aaron Burkholz. They were a big critical part of that project. And we will come to the board, in a future meeting to update on the second round of selections, and we'll update that. We're hopefully planning that for the next meeting, but we'll see if that fits in. I will plug in here. I'll give you kind of a sneak preview. We do have
You're spoiling us with all these images.
I know. We have a public meeting this week. Actually, it's Thursday at 11 a.m. And it's to go over our resurfacing projects. Let me see if I can make this bigger. There we go. So it's just a sneak preview. This is the map of all and on the right pane is the list of all the roads that we have in our resurfacing program. Again, this is along the same efforts of what Adam and his crew are doing as far as helping with these projects to remove and any tree removal or forestry work that needs to be done, or any of that ditching that needs to be done. It kind of goes ahead of some of these projects as well. So this will be this Thursday, so it's 11 a.m. I encourage anyone to attend. Mike Burnbeck, the project manager, and Nate Murphy, the senior project manager, will be the ones giving the presentation. And we'll go through in detail of all these projects, because some of these projects are pulverized, some are mill and overlay, and some are part of different agreements. And so I'd encourage you to attend that.
Commissioner Green.
Yeah.
What's meant by a federal buyout?
A federal buyout, I don't know if you remember, this year they did not continue that program. So MDOT had a program where you could buy out your federal aid, and that was 90 cents on the dollar.
Right.
And so that's what those projects are that we have. We still have a couple left, a few left for even next year. But unfortunately, MDOT did not continue that program for this fiscal year, but we're trying to put some pressure, and hopefully in the future, they'll bring that program back, because it was very successful for us, where we could look at the scope of that project, maybe expand the scope. But it's a great program, and hopefully we can continue in the future, but that's what that's meant.
Thank you.
And then just some other updates. Huron Road and Brinker Way, that's actually a development agreement or agreement with Ypsilanti Township to put a traffic signal at that. That's going to be bid out starting tomorrow. We do have some carryover work that I brought up last time in Pittsfield and Ypsi for our local roads, paving, where we're doing concrete work. That's basically the ADA ramps and that's in Pittsfield Township and Ypsilanti Township. That work's continuing. Because some good news, the mast arm steel for Ellsworth and Oak Valley and Ford and Russell is in, and we're expecting that to be installed next week. They're going to start at Ford and Russell. So that has been quite some time for those two projects. And then I'll go to the website.
So just some updates, North Territorial and Dexter Town Hall. That project is continuing. You can see everything's updated on our website for that. So I'd encourage those to go to that page for any updates there. Our other project along North Territorial between Mast and Webster Church Road, that's mainly we're going to be putting a traffic signal at North Territorial and Webster Church. That project, and here's that tab for that one. That project is going to begin on April 15th.
Show us the map.
Yep, sorry. So, yeah, there you go.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. So it included 2 culverts. Those were installed this past fall. And it has safety improvements like centerline rumble, sign improvements along that corridor. But the major part of that project is at the intersection of Webster Church and North Territorial, where they're installing a traffic signal. That will be, that road will remain open, but it'll be open for basically one lane open. It'll be controlled by a traffic signal on either end of Webster Church.
One
So-
thing I'd like to highlight,
Yeah.
and I want to thank both the engineering department and communications team in getting these project updates out. Because oftentimes, much like our Impress Award for communications, bringing the media to you, we write our own story and those project updates turn into an MLive or a Sun Times story. And it gets additional attention to these important projects. So just by doing these updates, they end up writing themselves a story into MLive or Sun Times, which help inform the public of the good work that's going on. So just thank you for that.
Kudo to the Manchester Mirror. I brought Tiffany a couple of those papers. It's a little tiny communication, but it's about all there is that speaks to the southwestern corner of the county. I really appreciate what you send to them.
Another update would be Miller and Zeeb. This project again is projected to start April 15th. This is the full closure. This is the install roundabout at that intersection.
Lots of forestry work has been done there.
It has, yep, yep. So yeah, so we're starting to start construction's starting to go in full swing. And so I'd encourage all those to attend to review our website and look at our current projects. So these are all of our current projects. Sorry, zoomed out. Within the county. And so you can view here, we have the map, which is you can actually click on each location, or you can go down to the actual project located below to access any information. So aside from that, that's my report, unless there's any questions.
Questions for Brent?
Just a comment.
Commissioner
So,
Smers.
Friend of mine gives me a hard time all the time. That's what friends do, I guess. But his comments to me were that he couldn't find out what projects were going on in Superior. I showed him the website. He loves the website. He's kind of a geek over websites, so he spends a lot of time on there, I guess. But I appreciate it because it's one thing that I could direct him to easily that is a simple answer. So it's an amazing website.
Great, thank you.
It also saves us from making mistakes and claiming something is happening where it's not and when it's going to happen. So.
Good. All right, unless there's any other questions.
That's all we had, I think.
Okay. All right.
No, I appreciate the comments on the website. That is our hub of information. That's really where we rely on as staff to point people to communicate. Some of our social media ends up being a link to our website or email. I'll oftentimes have a link to the website, project updates, what have you. So that is a great resource for us to refer questions to if you don't know it off the top of your head. Or there's a frequently asked questions on the side of our website as well. So it's an excellent resource. So thank you for pointing that out and directing people there.
Yeah. All right. If there is nothing else, please note that our next working session and board meeting occurs on Tuesday, April 16th. Working session at 9 and regular meeting at 1. It's going to be a very heavy duty working session with lots of preparation in advance of that meeting. We have our virtual chat sessions every Wednesday from noon to 1 for April. Tomorrow is Commissioner McCollum. April 10th is Commissioner Smers. April 17th is myself, and April 24th is Commissioner Green. So make sure those are on your calendars and make arrangements with someone to cover for you if you can't be there. The spring training, once again, Monday, April 22nd at Washtenaw Community College. Breakfast and check-in starts at 6:30. The program kicks off promptly at 7 a.m. And if there is no further business to come before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Support.
Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smers.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes,
And Commissioner Burt Fuller.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
thank you.